Okay.
And I'm asking where it's at, so that we can have a vote, get it signed, and then you guys are good to go with all your Ts crossed and your Is dotted.
And I thought it was signed, is maybe because it's New Year, or what? What
I
is
don't
it?
know. I don't
Okay.
know if they wanted a second set, I don't know. All I know is when we have a contract for services, and we're receiving money for those services, we need to get that signed and returned as soon as possible so that we can continue.
Mike,
Those
is there anything in that
services.
red over there? Here, I can look at it.
The only thing, I know that we've been billing and there was something that needed to be changed. I don't know, some federal coding or something like that with the accounting department. Is that what it is, or?
I'm speaking from memory.
Okay.
It certainly could be a supplemental.
Okay.
We had all our mail, the chairman had several different piles, and I'm guessing it got lost in those piles perhaps, but we need that, so we can get it signed.
Yeah, there's nothing here. I think, like you said, probably with accounting.
It's not with accounting. It got put in the mail for you, Franklin, and it wouldn't have gone to accounting because they do not sign our contracts. Commissioners sign county contracts.
Well, Brandon didn't seem to know about it either, so I don't know. You kinda think it went to accounting then, or?
Oh,
It
well-
didn't go to Brandon, it came to the commissioners.
I know that the sheriff signed the contract, I know with BOR, I know the undersheriff in Lewis and Clark County signed their contract at the final meeting we had. So it's signed, I don't know what you guys would have received on that. I know there was a few issues with the billing that we were getting straightened out, but maybe it is something supplemental that needs your guys' approval. So.
Or if Wynn has one, get back to it, but apparently we don't have it. I never had it anyway.
You may wanna just contact the BOR and tell them the chairman lost the contract. Please send us another copy.
Tell them whatever you want.
Yeah, I can find out what it is, so.
This happens every week, Franklin, and this has got to be handled differently. This is simply not okay.
Well, when things in the mailbox, I get them. I can only do what I can find in there. We can see what Cory has. He's got something in there. Yeah.
Are you waiting on us?
Well, yeah, did you have
Oh,
something,
oh,
Cory? or-
Oh, sorry. Yeah, give us 1 second, 1 second.
I have one question on the BOR contract.
Yeah.
Do we know, was it more from the accounting side or the actual, I mean, the people at the Canyon Ferry? I don't, there's a few people to contact there. I guess I could send a group email out, but just didn't know if we knew where that exactly came from. So.
Yeah, you can inquire if you want to, or that'd be great, but, I don't have it.
Okay.
I'll double check our mail at lunch, Brandon, and let you know. I expect it's out of there and just wasn't included for some reason.
Okay, just somebody let me know if I need to, I just would have to call a few people, I don't know what it would have been.
I would suggest don't do anything till you hear back from us, if it is indeed lost.
Okay,
We'll need it tracked down, if it's just been placed somewhere other than in commissioner's mail,
okay,
or in a pile somewhere, then we can hopefully find that, hopefully.
okay.
That's good.
Are we ready now?
Yes.
Sorry.
Is this where?
So, I guess what I'm bringing forward is, it's been a little while since we've, done the cooperative noxious weed management, agreement between Broadwater County Commission, Broadwater County Weed Board, and the city of Townsend. And that's been kind of a up in the arms, up in the air kind of a deal as to if we had an agreement and why the weed district isn't doing anything in the city limits. And so I'm basically going to present one to you folks today.
Let's hold on and ask him a few questions.
Okay,
A couple things I'm not clear on.
okay.
So this agreement, the old one's from 2006. And there's a couple of things that I'm not clear on, and I wanna make sure we are all clear on. As far as, what I think Scott's telling me is that currently, the city doesn't pay any money to the county for speed control, right?
Well,
How does that work?
the city, the residents in Broadwater County is considered, the county is considered the weed district. So there are minor taxes already being charged.
Even for in-city limits?
And my understanding is in city limits. Now, exactly, I don't know, I have looked at it, but it's a couple of dollars per household pretty much. And I mean, depending on how big, it's very minimal.
Do you guys, do you know that, Ann? If there's the in-city limits, if there's some stuff?
As far as I know, yes, there is. They are probably nominal charges.
Okay. Less so than if you're out of town, probably?
A lot of it depends on acreage, I think.
Oh,
I'm not sure how it's determined.
okay. But I guess, so the point is, we wouldn't have to have, including the agreement, that there's any money exchange between city and county. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Is there any situation where additional funds would be required for you to do in-city work?
Not necessarily, no. The original agreement, according to Pam Converse, who was the person responsible for upholding the original agreement, my understanding is that they came to the weed district and the city came to an agreement that they would do X amount of services in exchange for what was taxed and for the use of city water. Anything over and above and beyond that, then yes, we may charge. But that's for us to negotiate between the city and the weed district.
And it's not in this.
No,
Is there another between the city and the weed district other than this agreement?
not that I
It's just
know
kind
of.
of a
No,
handshake.
no, that's not that I have seen yet. This is the only portion of the agreement that I have ever seen.
The other thing that we've talked about before, and I know it's a question that was asked at city council is there any additional licensing requirements that Scott or his team would have to have for doing weed control within the city limits? And it depends on location. Do you want to tell them what that is?
Well, that is a gray area. There are certain portions within the city that I am required by law to have a turf and ornamental licensing, which once I get that turf and ornamental licensing, then you have to have special herbicides labeled turf and ornamental and certain kinds of equipment. Those would be anything that could be viewed as manicured lawns, planted vegetation, and things like that. And I mean, it goes on like your parks and anything relating to that. The only one that I can cover right now with my licensing is vacant lots that are not planted, or alleyways or roads if directly defined as that. So an alleyway, my understanding is I would have to have the legal definition of the alleyway to make sure that that does not fall in the landowner's, adjacent landowner's control. Some ordinances deem the alley as a city alleyway. Some of them deem it as the landowner's responsibility to the center of the alleyway. And so if I have those definitions, then I can go in and spray with my regulatory license.
There was also a question on what type of treatment. There was something about integrated approach rather than biological within the city. What does that mean?
Integrated means you can use a number of things. Herbicide may be used under that. Cultural means, which could be mowing, digging or cutting. Everything but biocontrol. Biocontrol is the insects that eat the noxious weeds. However, the state has deemed that an inappropriate use of biocontrol because most infestations within city limits are not big enough to viably produce effects.
Do we do any bio outside in the county?
Yes.
So does that include like goats? I mean, are goats?
That's under cultural.
That's under cultural.
Yep.
So you're saying no biological within the city?
Yes.
Is that the plan?
Correct.
As far as equipment goes, what's the plan there? You use your existing equipment unless there is a special equipment? Do you see any special equipment needs for within the city that you don't already currently need or use?
No.
Okay.
The one thing that I would have to is if there is herbicide, I have to make sure that the equipment that I use in here does not contain range type herbicides.
Okay.
If I have range type herbicides or right of way type of herbicides on them, I must properly get rid of that herbicide and decontaminate that.
Okay.
Otherwise the state can fine me.
What have we done regarding workers' comp or insurance in the past? What's our current practice? For insurance covering, liability covering your actions if
The
you're
county
doing weed
covers
control.
that. The county covers that under, as I am a county employee.
Same with workers' comp?
Yes.
Do you see a need where you would need to hire a employee or a whatever, seasonal, part-time, whatever, just for city stuff? Like,
No.
let's say the volume got that high.
No.
You don't see that?
No.
Okay.
Nothing more than what I already have planned on hiring.
There's one thing that came to my attention in the last year on a different agreement with the city. The whole issue of is Scott or his crew an agent of the city? And the reason that matters is if for, let's say they're spraying something and for whatever reason someone's unhappy and they sue the city for weed control done within the city, then right now the way we have with the law enforcement agreement between the city and the county is the county agrees to indemnify the city. And so there is one right now where the county has taken on the defense entirely. Mako Legal Defense has taken on the entire defense, even though the city was named as a defendant in the lawsuit. So that, because within that language it says that the county will cover it, but it also makes it clear and I can't remember exactly what the language is, but delineates is a law enforcement officer acting as city police in the city, acting as an agent of the city. And where I see that possibly coming to this issue is just what we heard, workers' comp or liability, if they're covered by the county, I think we need to get that included in the agreement. The second aspect of that is, within the city bylaws, but it really could happen either way. With the county plan, if someone's not complying, then at some point we would have the ability to go in and enforce, spray their land, send them a bill, et cetera. If we do that within the city, and there are some, there are some advocates on the city council that wanna go more aggressively towards weed control and some of that stuff this year, then that's where we need to clarify, are you acting as an agent of the city or an agent of the county? I've talked to both MACO and MMIA, which is the insurer for the city, and I would want them to agree on that language. So that would, other than the things we just talked about, that whole, is he an agent of the city or an agent of the county thing, I think needs to be clarified here. Are there any other things that commissioners are aware of as far as discussing that with the city council? Are there any other things that have come up besides the things Scott and I mentioned?
If you look, and I think one of them questions is, okay, the weed district is the keeper of the weed laws within the county. So we oversee all the weed laws, and the commission is the approver of said county policies and laws. So under ours, and I think it's this one right here, we are the enforcement agents of non-compliance. So it is our duty and obligation, if they wish us to do the non-compliance laws, and they already, by signing into this, then they are agreeing to the terms and the policies that we have set forth for this county.
So who makes up the weed board? I mean, are there any positions reserved specifically for residents within the city
Yes.
to be on the weed board? How
Yes.
many?
One. It's cut into 5 districts basically. One from the southern end, one from the northeast, one from the northwest, one from the central outside of the city limits,
And then one inside the city.
and then one southern. Yeah,
So like Toston, how are they covered? They're covered under the county because it's not a
correct.
incorporated city?
Yes, correct.
Is it considered a town site and not a city, Toston? Yeah.
The town of Kingston.
It's not incorporated.
Same as
It's unincorporated.
same as
Same with
Winston.
Radersburg or Winston?
Yeah.
Radersburg, yep, correct. If they were to incorporate, if they wish to do this, they would have to go through the same program. And we'd have to do this for each and every one of them.
So the only license, additional license from what you have is the turf and ornamental license that you would need.
Correct.
Is that right? Okay.
And that depends on what they specify me doing.
Right.
And that's only for if I use herbicides in them defined areas.
Okay. So what you have before you is an almost verbatim repeat with a little updated language from the 06 agreement, but because of this other issue, some of these new ones were raised, and then the licensing was one that Scott mentioned previously. So I'd like a chance to do some draft language and also talk to the city council. Our plan is to talk to city council tomorrow night.
Correct.
And I have talked to the mayor about it in the last month or so, and he's aware only that we need to get an updated agreement. Beyond that, we haven't really talked in detail, so. I guess what I would just tell you is, after we talk to city council, my goal would be to bring you back a updated agreement. And then the weed board meeting is on the 15th, and I have trial, so I don't know that I can be at that meeting.
Okay.
That's next week. out of
Could
town.
we present it to the commission potentially with your verbiage next Monday?
Essentially, we just postpone a week.
And I could
Yeah,
incorporate
let's
it
do
then?
I just asked if we can do that,
So you'll be on the agenda.
please. Or do the 1:30 is fine. We could do it at 1:30 if that works for Scott.
Yeah, I believe, what is next Monday, the
13th.
13th? Oh. What is that? I will have to check my deal, but I think I have a training, maybe, that I've gotta go teach at. I will look, but I would tentatively set that schedule, unless I otherwise tell you. Which I could potentially have the weed board chair present this also,
Okay.
so.
As far as the rest of today goes, I have to leave at 2 o'clock for a court hearing out of town. So I could meet for, I'm good for a half an hour. I think I have less than a half an hour stuff to discuss this afternoon unless you expect that you have more stuff that would take longer than that. But I do have to be like literally out the door at 2 o'clock to go to court, so. You guys, are you guys still good with that, 1:30 to 2 today?
We,
Then we start one today. Right?
I don't know. Let me pull my agenda.
One.
Oh, 1, even better.
And then
Okay, that'll work.
Did you want this for your,
Yeah.
that's the one as I was gonna present without the
Yeah.
proposed, and
I
then I
have-
changed the signatures on, the signature spot, so
Okay.
if you wanna mark anything down there.
Well, I have that. This is the one you emailed me though, right? I just moved the spacing around.
Yeah, that's fine, but
Can I have that?
yeah. Both of them are pertinent.
Okay.
Okay, any other further questions?
Awesome.
Okay, unless there's a comment out there, we will recess until 1 o'clock.